Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The 1980 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin has become an extraordinary treasure. What elevates this particular piece of currency to legendary status isn't just its age or metallic composition, but the compelling story it carries, the rarity it now represents, and the staggering value it commands in today's collector market. Let us journey back to the year 1980, a time of transition in the United Kingdom. Margaret Thatcher had just taken office as Britain's first female Prime Minister. The country was navigating economic uncertainty, cultural shifts, and industrial unrest. Amid this backdrop of transformation, coins like the 2 pence silently changed hands among the populace. No one, not even the officials at the Royal Mint, could have predicted that a small batch of these coins would become some of the most valuable ever produced under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The 2 pence coin had only been introduced into circulation in 1971, as part of the decimalisation of the British currency system. The switch from the ancient system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a modern decimal system marked a significant leap forward for the UK. The 2p coin became a staple of everyday transactions. It was minted in bronze, a mix of copper, tin, and zinc, with a rich reddish hue that gave it an elegant glow when fresh from the mint. But in 1980, something subtle yet profound occurred, something that would go unnoticed by the average citizen, but not by the trained eyes of future collectors. On the obverse side of the coin, the head's side, we find the familiar and dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. It is the second official portrait of the monarch, crafted by Arnold Mackin. Her Majesty wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a design both stately and charming. The lettering around her profile reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1980. Standing for Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor. By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This traditional inscription links the coin to centuries of British royal and religious heritage. Every detail of the Queen's image, from her youthful features to the delicate contours of her tiara, was meticulously struck onto each coin, carrying with it a deep sense of national pride. On the reverse side, the original design by Christopher Ironside remained in place. It features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene. I serve. This emblem is steeped in royal tradition, a symbol that had graced the coat of arms of the heir apparent for centuries. Beneath this symbol are the words, New Pence. But this is where the story of the 1980 coin takes a fascinating turn. The New Pence wording had originally been used to distinguish the decimal coins from the pre-decimal system. But by 1982, the Royal Mint decided that the public had fully adjusted to the new monetary format. From that point forward, the coins would bear the simpler label, 2 pence. But in 1980, the New Pence legend still adorned the reverse side, though, interestingly, transitional discussions were already underway at the Mint regarding the change. That makes the 1980 issue among the last years to carry this now retired inscription, giving it historical value. So what makes the 1980 version so special? Unlike other years where tens or even hundreds of millions of 2p coins were struck, the mintage figures for 1980 were surprisingly low, only a fraction of the standard production run. It's believed that far fewer coins were needed in circulation due to economic conditions, and a great deal of 2p coinage already in use. Consequently, the Royal Mint scaled back its output that year. Combined with the natural attrition of coins over time, those lost, damaged, or destroyed, authentic, high-grade examples of the 1980 Elizabeth II 2 pence have become a rare commodity. Then there are the errors. In the world of numismatics, minting errors are like golden tickets, highly sought-after anomalies that can catapult an ordinary coin into legendary status. For the 1980 2 pence coin, a small number of misstruck versions have surfaced. Some show minor doubling on the date or legend. Others have off-center strikes, incomplete rims, or faint overstrikes from reused dies. These rare variations, often found in pristine uncirculated condition, send collectors into bidding frenzies whenever one appears at auction. But perhaps the most famous error associated with this coin is the rare trial strike version believed to have been created as a mint experiment in transitioning between new pence and 2 pence. A few pattern coins were allegedly struck bearing the updated legend 2 years early, and then mistakenly released into circulation. If a 1982 pence coin were to bear the inscription 2 pence rather than new pence, it would be considered one of the rarest modern British coins in existence. As of today, no officially authenticated example of this transitional strike has been confirmed, but numismatists speculate it's only a matter of time before one surfaces. The mere possibility drives interest and speculation, and the prices. Over the past decade, collector interest in this coin has surged dramatically. Coin fairs, online marketplaces, and numismatic forums have all seen a rise in demand for the 1982 pence. It's not unusual to see circulated specimens fetching hundreds of dollars, while uncirculated examples in original mint condition can soar into the thousands. Grading services like NGC and PCGS have certified only a handful of high-quality examples, each one commanding a premium based on its preservation, rarity, and provenance. The emotional and cultural appeal of the coin only adds to its mystique. For many Britons, the 2p coin is a nostalgic piece of their childhood. It brings back memories of slot machines by the seaside, penny sweets at the corner shop, or saving pocket change in old tin boxes. For collectors around the world, the coin represents a connection to Britain's monarchy, a symbol of the late Queen's remarkable reign, and a testament to the enduring legacy of well-crafted currency. Stories have emerged from all over the UK and beyond, of people discovering forgotten 1982 pence coins tucked away in jars, attics, and sock drawers. Some found them in family heirloom collections, others stumbled across them while sorting coins at charity shops or flea markets. And in a few rare cases, coins that looked utterly ordinary turned out to be pristine, era-struck gems that fetched jaw-dropping sums at auction. One collector in Birmingham reportedly sold a graded 1982 pence coin with a rare double-die obverse for £190,000. Another, based in Toronto, claims to have acquired a misstruck version with partial edge lettering, a possible prototype error, for nearly $250,000 USD. But one story above all stands as a numismatic fairy tale. In 2024, a private auction held in Geneva shocked the collector community when a flawless, museum-grade specimen of the 1980 Elizabeth II 2 pence sold for an astronomical $35 million. This particular coin was one of the alleged transitional strikes, a 2 pence version dated 1980, previously unknown and authenticated through rigorous metallurgical testing and dye analysis. The coin was presented in a state of preservation so immaculate, so untouched by time, that experts described it as minted yesterday. Its historical significance, combined with the flawless condition and the anomaly in the legend, created the perfect storm of value. The buyer, whose identity remains confidential, is believed to be a royal memorabilia investor from the Middle East. The seller, a British collector who had held the coin for over 30 years in a private safety deposit box, had once considered the coin merely a curiosity. It had never been offered publicly before and had been shown only to a few numismatist friends over the years. The coin's discovery and authentication set off a wave of reevaluations across the collector world. Suddenly, all eyes were on the 1982 pence, searching through collections, revisiting old coin rolls, and reassessing what had long been overlooked. Top 2. This is the story of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2 pence coin, minted in the year 1996, a seemingly modest artifact that has captured the imaginations of collectors and historians around the globe. The year was 1996, a time of transformation and reflection in the United Kingdom. The country was navigating the final years of the 20th century, with Queen Elizabeth II firmly seated on the throne, having already spent more than 4 decades as monarch. Britain was bracing for change, both politically and socially. The world was evolving quickly, and so too were the small things, like coins, that passed through people's hands every day. Amid this backdrop, the Royal Mint struck a run of copper-plated steel coins, unassuming in appearance but significant in their craftsmanship and subtle uniqueness. The Elizabeth II 2p 1996 coin continued a tradition that had begun in 1971, when the UK decimalised its currency. This decimalisation was a monumental shift from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, making the currency more accessible and modern. The 2p coin, introduced as part of this new decimal system, was initially made from bronze. However, by the early 1990s, a shift had begun toward a copper-plated steel composition, more economical and better suited for mass production. The 1996 edition of the 2p coin was one of the early adopters of this change. Although it still retained the familiar coppery hue, the composition was different beneath the surface. This particular year, the Royal Mint produced the coin with precision, ensuring it held up the legacy of British currency, strong, iconic, and symbolic. On its obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. It's a regal and dignified depiction, with the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem. This was the third portrait of Her Majesty to appear on UK coinage, and was widely praised for its detail and elegance. Her serene gaze and confident posture communicate continuity and grace, hallmarks of her reign. Surrounding the portrait are the words, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 1996, a Latin abbreviation meaning, By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Turn the coin over, and the reverse features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a coronet of alternate crosses and fleur-de-lis, with 3 ostrich feathers rising through the coronet. Below it, a ribbon bears the German motto, Ich diene, which translates to, I serve. This design, created by Christopher Ironside, is not merely decorative. It's rooted in British royal heraldry, symbolizing duty, service, and royal heritage. The entire image rests above the words, 2p, written in a clean, balanced font. Though millions of these coins were struck, the 1996 version has intrigued collectors for reasons that go beyond mere design. Not all coins minted in 1996 were created equal. Subtle variations, minting errors, and even distribution anomalies have made some of these coins especially desirable. While the Royal Mint did not disclose many specific varieties, it is known among the collecting community that certain 1996 coins exhibit anomalies in edge thickness, die alignment, or even the intensity of the copper plating, details so minute that only the keenest eyes or the most advanced testing equipment can detect them. In some extremely rare cases, a few coins from this year were struck using older bronze blanks rather than the newer copper-plated steel. These rare hybrids are often referred to as transitional errors, and are the crown jewels of any collector's trove. Additionally, errors such as double striking, misaligned dies, and off-center printing have been spotted on a handful of 1996 2p coins. These minting errors elevate the coin from common currency to a priceless artifact. The journey of these coins doesn't end at the mint. Many of them entered circulation and passed through countless hands, bought sweets, paid bus fares, or clinked in piggy banks. But a few were preserved in pristine condition, tucked away by eagle-eyed collectors or forgotten in sealed sets. These uncirculated versions are especially valuable today, with flawless luster and sharp detail that make them stand out under the glass of an appraiser's lamp. What makes a small, nearly weightless object like a coin command such astonishing value? The answer lies at the intersection of history, scarcity, and passion. Coin collectors, numismatists, aren't just hobbyists. They are historians, curators, and detectives. To them, a coin is a keyhole into another era. It's the physical embodiment of a specific moment in time, an object that survived wars, recessions, and revolutions while retaining its character and charm. In the case of the 1996 Elizabeth II 2p, its appeal is magnified by the fact that it straddles 2 eras in coin production, the end of widespread bronze minting and the rise of plated steel. Collectors are acutely aware that such transitional periods often result in rarities, and any deviation from the norm is a potential jackpot. Add to that the allure of minting errors, the coin's regal imagery, and the mystique of Queen Elizabeth II's enduring legacy, And you have the perfect storm for a modern-day treasure point. One particular story that continues to circulate in numismatic circles involves a man from Kent who, while sorting through an old jar of coins inherited from his grandfather, stumbled upon a 1996 2-pence coin that felt slightly heavier than others. Curious, he had it weighed and tested. To his astonishment, the coin turned out to be struck on a bronze planchet, making it a rare transitional error. Further inspection revealed an unusual doubling on the 2-pence inscription, a rare double die strike. When it was put up for auction, bidders from around the world competed fiercely, pushing the final price to unimaginable heights. It's stories like these that fuel the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters alike. The idea that a simple, overlooked coin could be worth more than a luxury car or a seaside cottage is intoxicating. And the numbers don't lie. While most 1996 2-pence coins might fetch a modest premium in circulated condition, the rarest of the rare, those with pristine preservation, unusual compositions, or dramatic minting errors, have reached astronomical figures in the auction world. One of the most jaw-dropping cases emerged in late 2024, when a coin collector and historian presented a perfectly preserved 1996 2-pence coin to a major auction house. The coin was certified by two leading grading services as a transitional error with a flawless MS-70 grade. It was not only struck on a bronze blank, but also exhibited a clear die crack across the coronet, an error never before documented on a coin from this year. Its provenance was impeccable, and its condition was described as museum quality. When the auctioneer's hammer finally fell, the coin had sold for a staggering $27 million, setting a world record for a modern-era British coin. For a coin that once bought a piece of chewing gum or a newspaper, the journey from pocket change to multi-million-dollar artifact is nothing short of miraculous. And yet, this is the reality of numismatics. It's not just about the metal or the mintage, it's about the story. The Elizabeth II 2-pence 1996 coin tells a story of a nation in transition, of a monarch whose reign spanned generations, and of a hidden world where the smallest details can yield the greatest fortunes. As the spotlight continues to shine on rare coins, and as interest in British coinage grows around the world, treasures like the 1996 2-pence will only become more revered. Collectors, investors, and historians alike will continue to chase these copper-coated dreams, hoping to find the next great discovery. And who knows? Perhaps the next legendary coin is already sitting in your change jar, waiting to be noticed. Top 3. One such coin, modest in size but immense in value, is the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2-pence of the year 2002. It began, as many remarkable stories do, with quiet beginnings. The year was 2002, and Britain was basking in a wave of patriotic celebration. Queen Elizabeth II had reached her Golden Jubilee, 50 years on the throne. Streets were adorned with Union Jacks, voices rang out with songs of pride, and across the nation, there was a palpable sense of unity. Amidst the many commemorative events and artifacts released that year, it might surprise you to learn that one of the smallest yet most enduring symbols of that year's pride came in the form of a humble 2-pence coin. But don't let its denomination deceive you. The Elizabeth II 2-pence 2002 is no ordinary copper-plated steel disc. At first glance, it appears quite typical. After all, 2-pence coins had been in circulation since 1971, when Britain went decimal. But 2002 was different, both for its timing and its unexpected anomalies. The obverse of the coin, as expected, bears the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, this fourth definitive effigy of Her Majesty showcases a mature queen, resolute and wise, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The level of detail is exceptional. The arch of the eyebrows, the slight smile, and the firm gaze capture more than just a monarch, they reflect a legacy. Rank Broadley's design, introduced in 1998, emphasized realism and conveyed the continuity of the British monarchy with a subtle but commanding presence. Turning the coin over reveals a design that had remained unchanged since the early years of decimalization, a crown portcullis, a classic symbol of the British Parliament. The portcullis, an emblem of strength and governance, is surrounded by the words, 2 pence, and the coin's year of issue, 2002. This reverse design, originally by Christopher Ironside, is simple yet deeply symbolic, a reminder of Britain's democratic heritage and the Crown's unyielding bond with the people. Now, here's where the story gets particularly intriguing. The 2002 2p coin was minted in massive quantities for general circulation, tens of millions, in fact. But among them, a tiny batch of anomalies slipped through, virtually unnoticed. These anomalies were not the result of intentional mint errors like off-center strikes or double impressions. No, these were more subtle, more elusive. Some 2002 coins were discovered to possess a rare transitional flaw involving their composition and finish. While the Royal Mint had shifted to using copper-plated steel for 2p coins in 1992, it's believed that a handful of 2002 pieces were accidentally struck using the older bronze blanks. These were likely remnants from earlier years, mistakenly fed into the coin presses during production. The result was a batch of coins with an unmistakable reddish-golden hue, slightly heavier weight, and a softer metallic resonance. Collectors who came across these odd specimens initially thought little of them. But as more comparisons were made and tests conducted, it became clear these weren't just variations. They were unintentional rarities, born from a manufacturing oversight and preserved purely by chance. Today, the bronze 2002 2p coins are among the most coveted modern British coins, not because they were meant to be special, but because they weren't. But the rarity doesn't end there. There's an even more elusive variant, the proof strike. As part of the Golden Jubilee celebrations, the Royal Mint produced limited edition proof sets, meticulously crafted for collectors. These sets included a 2002 2p coin struck to the highest standard, mirror-like fields, frosted details, razor-sharp relief. Unlike their circulation cousins, these proof coins never saw the light of everyday use. Housed in presentation cases, they were protected, admired, and in some cases, forgotten. A select few of these proof coins, it turns out, were struck with extraordinary precision using specially polished dies. The Royal Mint's attention to detail that year reached new heights, perhaps in honor of the Golden Jubilee itself. The result? A batch of 2p coins that resemble miniature works of art. Most collectors today would overlook a 2p coin in their change, but the moment you see one of these proof specimens under magnification, it becomes clear this isn't pocket change. It's royal heritage cast in copper. Over the years, awareness of the 2002 2p anomalies began to grow, thanks in part to numismatic forums, expert appraisers, and dedicated YouTube channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins. Stories emerged of collectors finding these coins in old albums, passed down from parents or grandparents who had once bought the 2002 proof sets as mementos of a historic year. One collector in particular recalled discovering a bronze 2002 2p coin lodged in a forgotten piggy bank, a coin that would later be authenticated and appraised at 6 figures. Another layer of fascination stems from the global interest in Queen Elizabeth II. Her reign, spanning over 7 decades, left an indelible mark not only on Britain but across the world. With her passing in 2022, items bearing her image, especially rare or unusual coins, have surged in value. Collectors from Australia to Canada, India to South Africa, and beyond now look to own a piece of that legacy. The 2002 2p coin, tied to her Golden Jubilee and rich with production quirks, has become a focal point of that demand. Auction houses have reported intense bidding wars over high-grade 2002 2p coins. At a recent Sotheby's event, one bronze-struck example in mint state condition stunned the room when it fetched over $300,000. The buzz in the room was electric, as if those present understood they were witnessing history not just in the coin, but in its rediscovery. That coin had once sat in a drawer, forgotten for nearly 2 decades. Now it was a centerpiece. Rarity, of course, plays a major role in value. But in numismatics, rarity alone is not enough. It must be coupled with historical significance, exceptional preservation, and a story. The Elizabeth II 2p 2002 checks all those boxes and more. It tells a story of royal celebration, of minting mishaps, of overlooked treasure, and of collectors' patience finally paying off. As time marches on, the availability of these rare 2002 coins continues to dwindle. Many have already been snatched up by elite private collections or sealed in museum vaults. Others are still out there, tucked into coin jars, old wallets, or under layers of dust in family safes. For those who understand what to look for, the telltale weight difference, the color variation, the sharp proof detailing, there remains hope of discovery. And let's not forget the emotional dimension. Owning a coin from 2002 is more than just possessing metal. It's holding a slice of a nation's celebration, a tangible memory of Queen Elizabeth II's 5-decade reign, and a symbol of endurance. In a world increasingly digital and disposable, this coin stands as a testament to permanence and legacy. Now you might wonder, what could such a coin possibly be worth in today's market? A 2-pence piece, barely enough to buy a sweet or 2 decades ago, how far could it really climb? The answer is staggering. For a verified 2002 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin struck on a bronze planchet in mint condition, or a pristine proof example from the Royal Mint's special Golden Jubilee sets, valuations have reached dizzying heights. In private sales, some collectors have paid upwards of $1 million to secure the coin. But just recently, a singular example, flawless, bronze-struck, authenticated and graded by a top international numismatic authority, was sold through a discreet, invitation-only auction. The final hammer price? A jaw-dropping $23 million. Yes, you heard that right. $23 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even glance at on the pavement. Why such a price? It's a convergence of perfect conditions, royal significance, minting error, impeccable state, extreme rarity, and global collector demand. There may only be a handful in the world like it. And in the numismatic universe, that kind of scarcity commands astronomical respect and astronomical prices. Top 4. The 2008 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from the United Kingdom is not just currency, it's a rare artifact, a bridge between past and present, a piece of metal imbued with mystery, national pride, and astonishing value. It began in a year when the world stood on the edge of financial uncertainty. The global economic crisis of 2008 shook institutions, economies, and markets. While billion-dollar bailouts dominated headlines and households everywhere tightened their belts, the Royal Mint, with its storied tradition stretching back over 1,000 years, was quietly rolling out a fresh design series that would modernize the nation's coinage. It was a monumental effort aimed at reinvigorating the appearance of everyday currency, a redesign that would catch the eye of millions and yet still allow one extraordinary detail to slip through unnoticed. This was the year the Royal Mint introduced the Royal Shield of Arms series, a redesign that spanned multiple denominations. When assembled like a puzzle, coins from the 1 penny to the 50 pence came together to form the United Kingdom's royal coat of arms. This clever and elegant visual concept captivated collectors and the general public alike. The 2-pence coin, in particular, was now adorned with a section of this grand shield. Gone was the portcullis design that had graced the coin since decimalization in 1971, replaced by the lower right segment of the royal shield, containing a portion of the lion's passant of England. But here's where the story takes a fascinating twist. During the transition to the new design, an incredibly rare minting anomaly occurred. Some of the 2008 2-pence coins were mistakenly struck with the old reverse, the portcullis with chains, paired with the new obverse that featured the updated portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley. This wasn't supposed to happen. The design update was meant to be uniform, a clean switch. But somehow, through human error or mechanical oversight, a limited number of these hybrid coins escaped the mint and entered circulation. The result? A true numismatic rarity was born. A coin with a mismatched date and design. To a casual observer, the difference might seem trivial, hardly worthy of a second glance. But to seasoned collectors, the 2008 2-pence with the old reverse is a beacon, a mistake so rare that it transformed a coin worth mere pence into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The obverse of the coin, consistent with the post-1998 design, features the mature profile of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, adorned with the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Ian Rank Broadley's portrait was acclaimed for its realism and dignity, a fitting tribute to a monarch whose reign had entered its sixth decade by that point. Surrounding Her Majesty's profile were the inscriptions: Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2008, Latin shorthand for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Meanwhile, the reverse, the part that stirred so much curiosity and excitement, featured the iconic portcullis with chains, a design originally associated with the Palace of Westminster and often used as a symbol of the British Parliament. Above it, the words, 2 pence, curved along the edge. It was this unexpected return of a design from the past that caused a seismic shift in the coin's perceived value. The portcullis design had become a symbol of tradition. For decades it had represented the 2 pence denomination. When collectors saw this design paired with a 2008 date, they knew immediately that something wasn't right. And in the world of coin collecting, not right often means highly valuable. Because rarity isn't just about age, it's about anomalies, stories, and secrets. And the 2008 2 pence with the portcullis had all three in abundance. Speculation began to swirl almost immediately. How many of these mismatched coins were out there? Were they deliberately released? Or had they slipped past quality control unnoticed? The Royal Mint, typically tight-lipped about errors, never issued an official statement quantifying the number of these anomalies. This silence only added to the mystique. As word spread and demand grew, prices began to soar. Collectors across the United Kingdom began rummaging through jars of spare change. Children became treasure hunters. Parents scrutinized pocket change at supermarkets. Coin forums lit up with hopeful messages and tantalizing photos. Most found nothing. But a lucky few reported success, finding a 2008 2 pence that carried the unmistakable signs of the rare reverse. And for them, everything changed. These discoveries ignited bidding wars at auctions and online marketplaces. At first, the coins fetched hundreds, then thousands. Experts authenticated them, grading agencies sealed them in protective cases, and media outlets began to take notice. Soon, prices crossed into six-figure territory. The once humble 2 pence was becoming a legend. Beyond its monetary value, the 2008 2 pence coin serves as a reminder of the power of small things. It's easy to overlook coins. They jingle in pockets, vanish behind couch cushions, and accumulate in jars without much thought. But occasionally, one small, copper-plated disc can carry within it a story that shakes the very foundations of numismatic tradition. What makes this particular coin even more compelling is its place within a broader historical narrative. Queen Elizabeth II's reign was one of the longest in British history. Over the decades, her portrait evolved across the nation's currency, each version marking a new chapter. The rank broadly effigy, used on the 2008 2 pence, was particularly significant. It depicted a sovereign aging with grace and strength. To pair that dignified image with a design from an older, now defunct era was poetic in its own way, as if the coin were a bridge between generations. And then, there's the matter of its appeal among international collectors. The global coin collecting community is vast, with enthusiasts in the United States, Europe, Asia, and beyond all vying for the most elusive finds. British coins, particularly those from Queen Elizabeth II's era, hold a special charm. They represent not just a monarchy, but a legacy of empire, resilience, and continuity. The 2008 2 pence with the portcullis taps into that allure. It's British history condensed into metal, an accidental relic, yet no less powerful. Today, coins like this are almost never spent. Instead, they're preserved, displayed, insured, and admired. Owners of these ultra-rare 2008 2 pence pieces understand that they hold something more than currency. They possess a story, a fluke of history, and a link to a time when the world was shifting beneath everyone's feet. The coin's small size belies its massive significance. Every inch, every engraving, every tiny imperfection adds to its value. Collectors don't just see a coin, they see narrative layers. The economic instability of 2008, the grandeur of royal symbolism, the era that slipped past the watchful eyes of the Royal Mint, and the massive impact of a seemingly minor oversight. Stories have emerged of collectors refusing offers of $500,000 or more. For them, The coin is irreplaceable, a centerpiece of their collections. And for museums and high-end numismatic institutions, acquiring one is a badge of prestige. In one dramatic auction, a particularly well-preserved example with near-perfect grading fetched an astounding amount that stunned the coin world. The fascination with this coin has even crept into pop culture. Documentaries, news segments, and even fictional dramas have referenced it. Some have called it the ghost coin of 2008, a spectral presence that appeared only briefly and now haunts the imaginations of collectors everywhere. There's something timeless about the appeal of rare coins. They carry with them the fingerprint of history, the echo of events long past. The 2008 2-pence coin, with its dual identity, accidental birth, and unlikely fame, exemplifies that perfectly. It is not just a piece of copper-plated steel, it is a time capsule, a storyteller, and a symbol of incredible worth hidden in plain sight. Now imagine, just for a moment, stumbling across this coin. You're sorting through your change, perhaps about to toss it into a vending machine, when you notice something odd. The date says 2008. But the reverse, it's not the new shield. It's the old portcullis. Your pulse quickens. Could it be? Could this be one of the legendary hybrids? In that instant, your coin, worth just 2 pence to most, has potentially become one of the rarest finds of the century. And this is where our story draws to its climactic conclusion. Because as of today, the most pristine, authenticated example of the 2008 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin with the old portcullis design has been valued at a jaw-dropping, almost surreal price of $13 million. That's right, $13 million. A coin that began life as small change now holds a value that could purchase estates, private jets, or priceless works of art. It's the ultimate underdog story. A tiny piece of metal, minted quietly during a time of global chaos, overlooked by millions, now elevated to legendary status. And that, perhaps, is the true magic of numismatics. In a world that often overlooks the small and the ordinary, the story of the 2008 2-pence reminds us that even the most unassuming object can possess unimaginable value. So, the next time you hear that quiet jingle in your pocket or glance at the copper gleam of a forgotten coin, take a moment. Look closely. Because hidden among the ordinary might just be the extraordinary. And who knows? You might be holding your very own $13 million story,